Assalamu alaikum students. I hope you all are well, safe and healthy at home. I am your English teacher Farzana Khan with very interesting topic English modal verbs. Well, in today's class you will learn about the modal verbs, that what are modal verbs, why should you need to use modal verbs and how to use modal verbs. So by the end of today's lecture, you will be able to effectively use English modal verbs in your oral and written English language. So to become an effective English speaker and writer, pay close attention to this lecture. You must be thinking that what are modal verbs? Right, let me tell you that what are modal verbs. Basically, modal verbs are essentially, you can say that modal verbs are auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. However, perhaps the best way to think of modal verbs is as verbs that modify the meaning of the main verb. Modal verbs always require, you can say, always require the main action verb in a sentence, and it basically changes the modal verb basically changes the meaning of the sentence. By using modal verbs, you can easily change the meaning of an entire sentence. Well, you can do this by simply placing the modal verb in front of the main verb, thus modifying its meaning and consequently the meaning of the entire sentence. So modal verbs are really easy to use. We will see it later on and when you will learn how to use them properly. So after learning the proper use of modal verb, you will enter a whole new world of English use and you will be able to express more meaning more easily. Is this not correct? It is. Well, you can see these are the basic three modal verbs: can, may, and must. Similarly, there are other modal verbs: could, would, should, and might. Right? Should have can also be used properly. Similarly, used to is also an other modal verb. You will learn about all these modal verbs one by one in this lecture. But I'm sure the question must be occurring in your mind that do I need to use modal verbs? Right? You must be thinking that whether you need to use modal verbs, why do you need to use modal verbs? Basically, you don't. Nobody is forcing you to use modal verbs. It's not like the law of linguistic, you can say linguistic department, which is forcing you to use modal verbs in every third sentence. So you are not being forced to use modal verbs. However, you have probably been using them for some time now without even knowing them, right? If you are using those modal verbs without even knowing them, so why to use those modal verbs with proper understanding while knowing the proper meaning and proper usage of those modal verbs? Because they are the sort of creep into your everyday language and stay there forever. As I have already told you that modal verbs open up a whole new way of speaking and writing with their ability to quickly change the meaning of a verb and a sentence. And it also it also gives you an opportunity to make your requests polite, to make your speech polite in front of your audience, and to prove yourself as a good speaker. Right? That's why you need to use modal verbs. You must be thinking that why should I use modal verbs? Right? So let me tell you that why should you use modal verbs. Again, you can say in this sentence that should has been used even in this sentence, and should is also a modal verb. Right? I have told you that there are modal verbs everywhere and you are using them without knowing them. So why not to use them after knowing them? Why not to make the speech more effective, more meaningful, and more clear? So let's see, there are basically three main reasons why should you use modal verbs. First thing is that it's quite easy to use modal verbs. They are really easy to use, and you had been basically missing out not by not taking the advantage of using this linguistic opportunity, right? So, well, the other advantage or other you can say you should use the modal verbs because of its meaning. Basically, by using modal verbs, you are able to express tone in meaning that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And lastly, finally, you can say that you can add politeness. You can make your requests, your questions, your suggestions more polite by using modal verbs, because there are certain modal verbs which can make your speech polite. And I am 100% sure that you are not thinking that how should I use modal verbs? You can use modal verbs by watching this lecture, by learning that what are the uses of those modal verbs. Well, let me discuss one by one the modal verbs and their uses, that how to use modal verbs in everyday routine life. Well, first of all, there is can, which is a modal verbs, which is a modal verb. Well, can is used basically to express the general ability. Whenever you are telling your ability or you are telling the ability of something or someone, you will use can. And other use of modal verbs can is to express possibility or impossibility. And can is also used to ask a permission in informal way. Let's discuss with example. In example 1, you can see the sentence is, I can sing and play the guitar. Right? I can sing and play the guitar. So in this sentence, the modal verb can has been used to tell the ability of singing and playing the guitar. Similarly, you can use modal verb by saying that I can swim, I can play, I can speak well, I can talk to you properly, I can watch this movie, I can do my study very well, whatever. Basically, whenever you are telling your ability or the ability of something as someone or the capacity of something as someone, you can simply use the modal verb can. Right? So modal verb basically tells us the possibility of something or someone. In this example, you can see anyone can learn how to use computers if they want to. So here basically can has been used to tell the possibility that anyone can learn how to use computer if they want to. So there is possibility if someone wants to. Well, in third sentence, you can see that modal verb can has been used to ask permission. Can you help me to fix my door? But what you need to keep it in your mind is the very important point that can is used to ask permission, but informal way. It is used to ask permission in informal way, not in proper very formal way. Right? You can simply ask from your friend that can you give me your pen? Can you give me this book? Similarly, you can say to your younger brother, can you give me water? Can you help me? But when you are talking to your teacher, you won't go for can. You will go for formal way. Similarly, when you are sitting in an office, you are sitting in a meeting, you will go for more formal ways. So what are the formal way of getting permission, seeking permission or giving permission? It is basically may is an other modal verb. It also has certain uses in proper formal way. So first of all, may is used to express possibility. Well, and may is also used to ask or to give a permission, but not in formal way, but in proper formal way. May is also used to make polite requests, and may is also used to express wishes. Well, let's discuss with examples. You can say in the first sentence, he may come late today. right? He may come late today. The first rule, the may is used to express possibility, right? He may come late today means there is possibility he may come late. Similarly, you can also say that he can come late, but there is no surety that he will come late. You are using may means you are just telling the possibility, not the surety. Well, in other sentence, you can see, you may use my computer. Here you are giving permission to other person in proper formal way. If you are using that you can use my computer now, it means you are giving permission in informal way. But when you are using may, it means you are giving permission in proper formal way. Well, requests can also be made with the use of may in formal way. May I make a phone call? And similarly, you can also recall this frequently used sentence which you usually use in the classroom. When you enter the classroom and you ask permission from the teacher, teacher, may I come into the class? Teacher, may I come in? Right? So when you are using may, basically you are getting permission in proper formal way. Right? Similarly, when you are giving permission to someone, you can say that you may come in, you may use my phone, you may use my computer, you may take my book. Well, in the last sentence, you can see, may you live happily and long. So may, the other use of may is basically, it is also used to express wish, right? So may is used to express wish. Here in this sentence, may has been used to express wish. May you have success in your life, may you live long, may you live happily and long. So these are basically wishes. So may is also used to express wish in a sentence. Well, can and may basically express permission in the similar way, right? Can is used in informal way and may is used in proper formal way. In the first sentence, you can say, you can see, you can go now, right? When you're saying you can go now, it means you are giving permission to other person in informal way. But when you are saying you may go now, you are giving permission to other person in proper formal way, right? The meanings of the both sentences are same, but the difference is of formal setting and informal setting. In next sentence, you can see, can I borrow your umbrella? Here you are getting permission, right? You are getting permission by using the modal verb can, which is informal. When you are asking to your friend, so you can simply say, can I borrow your umbrella? When you're talking to any stranger and you want to be formal, then you will go for, may I borrow your umbrella, right? So what you will keep in your mind is that can and may are used to express possibility. Can and may are used to express permissions. May is used to express wish, and can is used to express ability. Right? Well, the other two important modal verbs are might and could. What you need to keep it in your mind, is that might is basically the past equivalence of may, and could is basically the past equivalent of can. Both of the might and may have the same uses, but might is used in the past tense and may is used in the present tense. Similarly, the uses of could and can are also similar. Could is used in the past tense and can is used in the present tense. But there are also certain other, you can say that there are also certain other uses which we will discuss one by one. First, see the examples. Could. Could is equivalent to can. When you are talking in the present tense, you will simply say, I can swim across the river wherever I go, right? But when you are talking about the past, past event, past ability, or about your past, then you will use I could swim across the river when I was child. Here basically the ability has been told with the use of could, as it's a past sentence, so could has been used. In next sentence you can see the permission uh, mm, has been given with the use of might and could. I said I might go, right? So in this sentence you can say this sentence is in past tense because said is past, so past tense always followed by the past tense. So you will go for might, not may. Similarly, you can also give permission by using could. I said I could go, right? How well in the next sentence you can see I thought he might be at home, right? In this sentence, the possibility has been shown. For the purpose of giving possibility, might has been used, but this sentence is in past tense. That's why instead of may, might has been used here. In other sentence, you can see could has been used to show the possibility. She wondered whether it could be true. Well, let's discuss might and may one by one. Might, as it is the past form of may, it is used to give permissions, it is used to give possibility, to tell possibility in the past tense. Might is also used to express future and present possibility. This is very important to notice because when you think that might is the past form of may, so you always place it in the past tense, keeping in mind when there is need of may in place of permission and possibility. But there are certain other uses of might. It is used to express future or present possibility. It is basically used interchangeably with may quite often with no difference even in meaning. How? Let me tell you. You can see in the example, she told that he might come in and use her stove. She told that he might come in and use her stove. It means the might has been used to show the possibility. In other sentence, you can see he might be having lunch now. Again, the possibility has been used. But possibility of not the past, possibility of the present. He might be having lunch now. Now is telling you that this is basically the present tense, and in present tense, the possibility has been, the might has been basically telling the possibility of having lunch. Similarly, might is also used to express future possibility. Not only the present possibility, but the future possibility as well. Here you can see it might rain tomorrow. So in this sentence, the possibility of future has been revealed. In next example, you can see there may not be a meeting tonight because the director is ill, right? It is basically the present possibility, but at the same time, might can also be used in this sentence with no change in meaning. There might not be a meeting tonight because the director is ill. So the both modal verbs are acceptable here. Both are correct. Both are telling the present possibility. In the next sentence, you can see, I may go to Italy this summer. Again, the future possibility, you can also say, I might go to Italy this summer. Right? So these are basically the uses of might. It is used in past tense in place of may. At the same time, it expresses future or present possibility, and it is used interchangeably with may quite often with no difference in meaning. I hope this point is quite clear to all of you. Let's talk about the could. This is also another important modal verb. Could basically is the past form of can. Wherever we use can when in the same sentence is in past form, we use could. But there is another use of could. it is used to make ask, you can say it is used to get permission, and it is used to request or ask something in a polite way. You can say in the examples, we tried hard, but we couldn't. But we could not persuade them to come with us. We tried hard, but we couldn't persuade them to come with us. Right? In this sentence, journal, you can simply say uh, could has been used to tell the ability that we couldn't. The possibility, you can say the ability and inability has been expressed. In the next sentence, you can say as could is used in place of can in past tenses to reveal to tell the ability of someone or something. So you can say the example, my grandfather could not swim. So here basically you are talking about the grandfather who is no more, and you are talking about the past. That's why you have used could here instead of can. When you say my grandfather cannot swim, or you can simply say my grandfather can swim, it means you are talking about the present ability. But when you are talking about the past ability or inability, then you can simply say my grandfather could swim very well, or you can say my grandfather couldn't swim. Well, next example, when you come to Pakistan, you could stay with me, right? Here, basically, you are asking for something, or you are making a polite request, or you are giving a polite permission to other person, and you are talking about the future tense, not in the past. So, at the same time, when we say that could is used in place of can of past tense, so could can also be used to make polite requests. Could can also be used to make to ask something, to give permission in a polite way. So when you come to Pakistan, you could stay with me. In other sentence, you can say, could you tell me what time it is? Basically, here you are making a request in a polite way. In other sentence, you can say, could you pass me the salt? Could you give me the book? Could you borrow? Could you give me your umbrella? So basically, you are making polite requests. You can make polite requests with the use of could. So it was all about could. After could, we have next modal auxiliary verb, which is also a very important verb, which is would. You must be very familiar with the verb will, right? And you must be pretty clear that how to use will. Will is basically used to reveal your certainty about the future. And when you use talk about the future tense, so you go for shall or will. So when we talk about would is basically the past form of will. It is used to express future in the past because it is the past form of will. For instance, when you are in the present situation and you are talking about the past, when you are in a present situation and you are talking about the future, then simply you will use will. But what about the past? When you are talking about the past, but past future, you are making a past tense in a sentence and you are talking about the future, then what would you use? You will definitely use would. This is the past form of will. So, would is also used to make polite requests and offers because it is the softer form of will. Let's discuss first how to use in past future. Here you can see in this sentence, he told me that he would come and fix this computer yesterday. He told me that he would come and fix this computer yesterday. उसने मुझे बताया कि वो कल आएगा and computer को fix करेगा. Right? So here what to use? Here you are basically talking about in the past tense. Told, right? That's why instead of will you need would, which is the past form of will. So he told me that he would come and fix this computer yesterday. Well, Would is also used to make polite requests. So, would you allow me to go there? Would you like to? Would you like a cup of tea? As you can also say, would you like to help me? Would you like to listen me? Would you like to have a cup of tea with me? And you can also say, would you like to go me? Would you like to watch movie with me? Would you like to help me? Or uh, would you like to join my group? Whatever. Here you are making polite requests, some formal requests. So would is the past form of will. So the first use of would is that it is used in place of will when we are using a past tense. It is at express the future in the past, right? And other use of would is that it is used to make polite requests, to make polite offers to other persons. Uh, you can give offer and you can also make requests with the use of would. Well, it was all about the modal verb would. Let's move toward the should. So what is should and how to use should? Basically, should is also a modal verb, and as would is the past form of will, so should is the past form of shall, right? But at the same time, should also has certain other uses. First, you need to keep it in your mind when you are talking about when you ask or give advice or recommendation, you use should. For instance, here you can see in the example, I think you should stop smoking. Here you can take it a recommendation, a polite recommendation, and at the same time you can take it as an advice. You should focus on your studies. You should watch the lecture with full concentration. You should listen each and every point which the teacher is explaining. You should obey to your parents. So what are these sentences? These sentences have become advice and recommendations with the use of should. In other sentence, you can see they insisted that we should have dinner with them. Again, a type of recommendation. You can also call them an advice. Well, another use of should is that it is used in all persons to express duty or obligations. We should obey the laws. We should not break the laws. We should follow the rules of class. You should submit your assignments timely. You should prepare for the quizzes very well, right? So you should keep your promise. You should obey your parents. Children should obey their parents. You should also give respect to the teacher. So what are these? These are basically obligations, or in other sense you can also call these as advice. Well, I hope the use of should is pretty clear to all of you. Well, next we have must, which is also very important modal verb. So must is used to express necessity or obligation, right? Similarly, must is also used to make a strong recommendation. What you need to keep it in your mind is that should is also used to make strong recommendation, but must is used to make strong recommendation. In should, your tone is polite where you give advice to other person, but in must you are basically strongly recommending other person to do this, right? So it also expresses necessity and obligation. So here you can see in the example, you must improve your English. Here there is strong recommendation when you say you should improve your English. In a softer tone, basically you are recommending or you are giving suggestions to other person, or in other sense we can say you are giving advice to other person. But when you add must here, then it means you are making it necessity. You are making a strong recommendation. You must improve your language. You must improve English language. You must watch the lecture with full concentration. I must have a visa to go to Canada. right? It's basically telling the necessity. This is a very interesting class. You must take it too, right? A strong recommendation. You must improve your spelling. Again, a very strong recommendation. We must get up early, right? Again, very strong, you can say, a very strong obligation or recommendation. Well, must is used, but what you need to keep it in your mind, you need to be very careful while using must. You cannot use must in proper while talking to the other person who is senior to you. Like a teacher can say you that students, you must focus on your studies, but you cannot say to your elder, your parents, that they must listen you whatever. So what you need to do, you need to keep it in your mind, uh, that must is a word which has more strong intensity than the should. Should is a simple recommendation, suggestions, obligation, but must is very strong, is used to show strong recommendation, necessity, and obligation. Another use of must is that must refers to the present or the near future. Must also refers to the present and near future. How? You can see in the example, in the sentence, it must rain tomorrow. Means you are giving a strong, you can say, you are basically telling a strong necessity about the tomorrow, about which you are sure. It must rain tomorrow. You must visit me, or you can say you must do it. You must do it means you are talking in the present way. So when we say that must is basically used to tell the present recommendation, or you can say future recommendation at the same time, it refers to the present or the near future as well. It must rain tomorrow. You must do it. So another important point, which is very important to make it clear, what is the past of must? As you earlier learned in this lecture, that can is used to show possibility in the present, but could is used to show the possibility of the past, right? So could is the past form of can. Similarly, might is the past form of may, right? Would is the past form of will, and should is the past form of shall, right? At the same time, it also occurs in our mind that what is the past form of, we can say, must. If we are talking in the past tense, we can use must to refer future. We can use must to refer past. Sorry, present. So we can use must to refer present and future. But what about the past? If we are giving strong recommendation in the past, and then what should we do? This is a question, right? So what you need to do, you need to add had to in the past, because basically there is no past form of must. So when there is need to give strong recommendation in the past tense, you will use had. So to talk about the past, you use had to, which is basically the past form of have to, because must has no past form. Here you can see in this sentence, yesterday we had to get up early, right? Here I also want to tell you one thing which is very important, that have to. When we talk about have to basically show the strong compulsion in the future, or you can say it's the present form. So in the present tense, you use it to show compulsion for other persons. You have to do this, but you must be pretty clear, you must be very careful while using have to in formal setting. While talking to some elders, you cannot say you have to. It will sound informal, it will sound awkward when you are talking to your father, your teacher, your boss, and you are using you have to do this. This is basically it can sound or in other word an improper, all right? So the past of have to is had to, which is a strong recommendation. When there is need to use must in the past form, you will use had to. Yesterday we had to get up early. Let me tell you another very important modal verb which is used to. So this the basically the auxiliary verb construction used to is used to express an action that took place in the past, but now that action no longer habitually takes place. This is basically a modal auxiliary verb which is used to tell the past habitual habit. We used to take long vacation trips with the whole family. Uh, Previous years, yeah, you can say previously, or you can say when I was a child, whatever. We used to do this, whatever. So used to is also a modal auxiliary verb. Well, I also like to tell you and the use of very important. This is you cannot say it. Some according to some grammarians, this is also a part of come under the category of modal auxiliary verbs, and some don't add it, and others don't add it basically in the modal auxiliary verbs. But I would like to tell you the use of should have. Basically, should is show the present possibility and present, you can say, obligation, or it is also used to recommend something or to give suggestions. But what about the past? How to use should in the past form, in the past tense? Should basically means that something did not happen. Should have basically means that something that did not happen, but we wish it had happened. At that time, we use should have to talk about the past mistakes. So, how to use, for instance, you didn't prepare very well with the for the quiz, and after solving the quiz you are talking to someone and you are just saying, I should have prepared for the quiz very well. It means कि मुझे quiz की बहुत अच्छी तैयारी करनी चाहिए थी. So should have is basically the past of should. Let me explain with the examples. I was so worried about you. For instance, the mother is talking to the son. So she is saying, I was so worried about you. You should have called me. Right? So here mother is saying actually that I was worried about you. Basically, mother is talking in the past tense. Right? So you should have called me means she is making him realized his mistake that कि उसको call करनी चाहिए थी. I should have listened to my teacher. I should have focused to my studies. So when the time passed, and you think about your past time, and you think about your past mistakes, and you regret uh, you regret over those mistakes, and you think that you should have done this. So at that time you use the should have. In next example, you can see, I'm sorry that I'm late for work. I should have woken up earlier. मुझे जल्दी उठना चाहिए था. Right? So should have is basically the past of should. So when we basically use should have to talk about the past mistakes. Well, it's all about the modal auxiliary verbs. In today's class, basically you learned what are modal auxiliary verbs and why modal auxiliary verbs are important for you. If the modal auxiliary verbs are important, definitely these are important because these can change the meaning of the sentence and can make your speech and your writing very effective. Well, so you also learned in this class that how to use modal verbs. You learned one by one the different uses of different modal verbs. I also explained with examples, and I'm pretty sure that all the rules, all the points of the modal verbs are pretty clear to all of you. So you are competent in using modal verbs after watching this lecture with full concentration. So what you need to do now, you need to go for more and more practice. The more you read, the more you become a good writer. But the more you speak, the more you become a good speaker, right? For this purpose, I'll suggest you, after watching this lecture, I'll suggest you that you should read all these points from the handouts which I have uploaded on Google Classroom. You can also study these uses of these modal verbs from the book of Wren and Martin, which is already uploaded on Google Classroom. Well, at the same time, after understanding these points, what you need to do, go for solving the exercises which are given in the handouts and also in the book of Wren and Martin. You can simply go for any website on Google where you can go for the practice of using modal verbs. And lastly, but very important point is that use these modal verbs into your daily routine life, because it is only practice which makes a man perfect. If you want to be a good speaker and a perfect writer, so adopt the appropriate use of modal verbs in your speech and in your writing. Well, best of luck to all of you. Prepare it very well. Take care of yourself and your family. Stay at home. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.